Hi everyone,
and welcome to another episode of ITT Podcast, which stands for In This Together Podcast. Our podcast is our honest take on relationships, love, and marriage, with the aim of sharing our views and experiences for you to take from it whatever you need.
So whether you're single, dating, in a relationship, or happily married, there is something in it for you.
Hi everyone, today's episode is called Side Chicks, Side Men, and Cheating. We will deep dive into one of the most complex and controversial subjects that has sparked countless discussions and debates, especially on social media platforms. We will be exploring the intricacies of these relationships, the motivations behind them, and the impact they have on individuals and on society as a whole. So, let's kick it off.
Let's kick it off. Why is it important to us?
Even that question. This topic is important because it's something that affects a lot of couples. We're all about healthy, happy, and successful relationships that benefit the people who are in them.
Mm-hmm.
So we couldn't not cover one of the main things that tends to frequently... Yeah. This is one of the main things that frequently destroys relationships in some shape or form. So I think we just had to cover it, and it's probably something that people would have expected us to cover in season 1. Yeah. But we've been taking our time because it's just one of those topics that
it's quite a sensitive topic.
Yeah,
I think that's why it's taken us this long to cover it.
Yeah, and I guess while we may give our views on the matter, it's crucial to remember that the individual experiences and circumstances differ for people going through this now or who have been through this. And we're not telling anyone what to do or how to think. We're simply giving our opinion and our views on side chicks, side men, and cheating. So it's very much about us and how we view
think
it.
About it. Yeah.
And just to be clear, we're not really taking a look into polygamy or polyamory or open relationships when we talk about this. So we might touch on it in this discussion, but we're predominantly talking about a monogamous relationship where both people have agreed to be faithful and exclusive to each other. And then there's a lot of tomfoolery going on. So it's about that trust and it's about that kind of portrayal. So we're not really talking about open relationships here because then it wouldn't be so much of an issue in those situations. So let's kick off with stats.
Stats or definitions.
Stats and definitions. I don't think we have stats on this one. We didn't really go into stats.
I don't think we need stats for how many people getting cheated out there. Cheated on out there.
I think when we're thinking about marriage, we've already said in previous episodes that one of the number one reasons for divorce is linked to infidelity of some sort. So we all know that infidelity is one of the biggest reasons for separations, relationships ending, divorce, etc. So I think stats wise, I don't think we need to really break it down in that regard, but let's do some definitions. So in terms of side chicks, what is a side chick, Frank?
What is a side
Frank?
chick?
No, I'm joking. I make it sound like you have a side chick. What's the side
chick? Never
know.
Well, looking at the Urban Dictionary, a side chick is classified as the other woman. Right? Let me just stop there. The other woman, also known as the mistress, a female that is neither a male's wife nor girlfriend, who has a relation with the male while he is in another relationship.
Okay, pass the flag.
That's the definition of a side.
It's interesting how it says neither a male's wife nor girlfriend.
Yeah, so you're not even a girlfriend.
Because a lot of side chicks they act like they're the girlfriend. I haven't met many side chicks, but I'm saying like in terms of what we see on social media, what we hear, there is this perception, especially if a man's married, that he has a wife and the other woman is his girlfriend.
So you're telling me there's a wife, there's a girlfriend, and now there's a side chick. So a man can have all those three.
No, I don't think so. I think what I'm saying is that usually they act as though the side chick is the girlfriend and the wife is the wife. So I have a wife, but I have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
But I find that weird.
It's not a girlfriend. It's the wife and the side chick.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's interesting. Okay, so that's the definition of side chick. We'll go into more detail about it when we talk about it. What about side men?
Yeah, the side man is...
What's the side?
The side man is interesting because when I first checked on side man, from the normal Oxford Dictionary was someone was part of the band, like some sort of band group. But obviously I had to look into...
What, like a group member of a band?
A group member of a band. Like literally that's what a side man is. So I'm not quite sure if there are already side men out there that are like part of a group of a... Yeah, but the Urban Dictionary states that a side man is an irrelevant... and powerless guy who is known as a flower man. And shows signs of moist and soggy behavior.
What in the world?
I know this is
why is Urban Dictionary going hard on side? They're going harder on side men than they are on side chicks.
You see what I'm saying?
It's interesting how it says irrelevant and powerless guy. It's like, why does that have to be how Urban Dictionary describes a side man? Why can't he just be the opposite of what a side woman is? You know, a man who is not neither a husband or a boyfriend, but has a relationship with a woman who is in another relationship. Yeah. Why can't that?
We would have to just see it as that. But clearly, Urban Dictionary doesn't think so.
It has a lot of opinions on the side man. That definition is already plagued with opinions, and it's interesting that side man as well is not as commonly talked about or known or referred to as side chicks. Side chicks is like I guess side chicks is since the dawn of time, you know, mistresses, the other woman. I mean, this is not a new concept, where side man is probably quite new if you think of the era we're in, with women being a lot more independent, free, and can control whether or not they get pregnant when they're having relations with men. So, you know,
that's a really good point.
Because of that, now a woman can have a partner, a husband, but actually have a side man,
which was unheard of.
It just was unheard of. And also, I guess women having more power nowadays. There's more women with money. There's more women with wealth, and so you can get a side man. Whereas before, what man is going to be a side man when the man is usually the one taking care of the woman? That's true. So I think side man is a fairly modern concept, whereas side woman seems to have been there from the dawn of time. Yeah,
that's a really good point.
Yeah, so already the definitions show the different attitudes in society towards the two concepts.
Yeah.
And cheating.
Let's break down cheating. What do we mean when we say cheating?
I think cheating is straightforward. It's what you're doing to the partner who is the main person. If there's a side person, then there's obviously a main person. And you having a side person while you're with the main person is cheating. And you're being unfaithful, basically, to that person. It doesn't have to necessarily be a relationship either. So cheating also encompasses one-night stands, emotional dishonesty. That's true. Sneaking around, even if you're not having any kind of physical relationship.
But just like talking to other women and whatnot, Plus cheating, inappropriate. Inappropriately, and whatnot,
But the official definition of cheating is acting dishonestly or unfairly in order to gain an advantage.
That's interesting.
I know.
But what advantage are you trying to gain, though? I don't get that bar.
Frank, you do not get the advantage you're trying to gain by acting dishonestly and having two women.
Okay.
The advantage is having two women when you're supposed to have one.
All right, the benefits now. Okay.
And maybe
it should not be benefit, not advantage. It should be benefits, right?
I see what you're saying, like an advantage in the situation, I guess. But remember, this is like a generic definition of cheating. So if you think of like cheating on a test, you're trying to gain an advantage. But I still think in a relationship, you're trying to gain an advantage because you're trying to have your cake and eat it too.
True.
Merriam-Webster also mentions to violate rules. So interestingly, that definition also mentions to be sexually unfaithful. So they just get right on and just say it. But like we just said, it doesn't have to be sexual. It doesn't have to be sexual. It doesn't have to be physical. So let's get into it. So what are some of the factors and motivations that may lead people to become involved in a side relationship? And I guess this is from both perspectives. Why do we think people do it, first of all? Because it really can be detrimental to a relationship.
Yeah.
And obviously you're a man, I'm a woman, so we're going to come at it from different perspectives. But what are some of the factors that make people seek out cheating or fall into cheating or even be the side person in a relationship the other person is cheating? Let's do the person who should be faithful.
Let's do the person.
Let's start with the person in the relationship. What do you think?
Lack of intimacy.
As a man, you went straight there.
That's important.
Yeah.
Lack of
Okay.
intimacy, lack of communication.
Yeah. So let's go back to lack of intimacy. What does that mean to you as a man? Lack of intimacy is like is there no, you're not getting the time that you need for that physical intimacy, or is it like
not getting the time with your partner, not being able to spend time with them, not being able to be physical with your partner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we know what you mean. But you know what? I think as a woman, I think lack of physical intimacy comes about when the emotional side of things has already broken down. So I think like emotional dissatisfaction kind of comes before the lack of physical intimacy, because if you're feeling emotionally unsatisfied, neglected, or you're just feeling like, you don't have that validation from your partner, it's easy for you to kind of disconnect from them. And then from that disconnect, then you get the lack of physical intimacy. Yeah. And I think it's interesting that for you as a man, you kind of start on the lack of physical intimacy. Whereas for me, I would think automatically emotional dissatisfaction, you're going to seek validation from someone else.
True. Yeah. But I do agree with the emotional dissatisfaction part of it. I think that does come before.
Yeah. But do you not think like sometimes men don't notice that there is an emotional disconnect there?
We miss that.
Yeah.
We miss that sometimes.
Yeah, I think so.
We're not often aware of it until it gets to the part where it becomes lack of
intimacy. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. And I think also, with lack of physical intimacy, that doesn't always, it doesn't always have to link to emotional dissatisfaction. I just think that in that order, because as a woman, I would think, well, what would get me to that level? And it's definitely going to be something emotional in terms of how the relationship is.
But put it this way, if there wasn't a lack of emotional dissatisfaction, it wouldn't lead to
lack of physical. But at the same time, there is also, we do have to bear in mind that there are some relationships where the emotional side of the relationship is fine, but one person just has more drive.
Freaky. One person just more freaky. They want to try.
One person has more of a sex drive than the other.
Different cake. They want to try different cake.
Oh God, not cake. But yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
So
they're seeking excitement. They're seeking.
Yeah, because relationships can get
boring.
Monotonous. Yeah.
Get really boring.
Wow.
Boring. Hey, come on, man. Come on. You know what I'm saying, though. Like,
how could the relationship get boring? I want to hear this.
You don't want to say when the honeymoon period is over. Right? Then the true love really begins. That's what I'm talking about. The true love is really boring. It's not fun. Because that's when you got to leave. You have to leave. I'm now living with you, and now I have to be with you for the rest of my life. Now we're talking proper love. You get me? It's not as exciting as when you get that whole tingly feelings. You do get that, but that tingly feelings does go. Then the real love settles in. This is what I'm saying about when someone tries to go out there and seek the excitement, because they try to reenact what happened.
That's true.
The
beginning. Yeah.
Only seeking that. That's why they'll move to different partners. They'll just keep cheating with different people because they keep seeking that excitement.
That makes sense. So we're saying like either something's gone wrong in the relationship, emotionally, connection wise, and then that kind of affects the physical intimacy, and then from there that lack of physical intimacy leads the person to go and try and seek it elsewhere, that intimacy. Or there's nothing necessarily going wrong with the relationship, but it's now become more mundane, it's become less exciting, and now they're seeking that other, that excitement, that thrill. Yeah, that's true. What else? I mean, so we've got the emotional dissatisfaction, lack of physical intimacy, novelty and excitement. So all of these are like linked, having that drive to find someone new, to explore a new relationship, and maybe even sometimes the thrill of the fact that it's a secret. And that you're meeting up.
Fear of getting caught.
Yeah, you're meeting up when you're not supposed to be, and you could get caught. So that's like novelty, excitement, all of that. Also like communicating poorly, having like a lack of communication. Although that's all, I think it's all very linked to emotional dissatisfaction and that disconnect. When you lose that communication, you lose that level of discussion to understand what the other person's feeling. It can leave them to start feeling unheard, unappreciated, misunderstood. And then they can easily start seeking someone to make them feel like they're heard. someone that can listen to them. And that's not, I always say the side chick will listen to you because they don't have to listen to you every single day. And not to say that your wife shouldn't listen to you or your husband shouldn't listen to you, but in the sense that, you know, when you're with someone for a long time, you're not always going to listen to everything they're saying because they say so much to you in the relationship. Sometimes it's hard to decide. But
this is what I was saying.
What really needs to be
This is what I was saying about, like, you know, it becomes boring. That's why I use that word.
Gosh, that's not
okay.
You're not advocating well for marriage.
No, okay, maybe boring is. Let's
explore this. Why the word boring? Because you said it twice. Why the word boring?
To people cheating, it's become boring because they feel like nothing exciting is happening anymore.
But why? But you can make your relationship exciting.
We do. But the thing is, why that first excitement,
that initial,
you can never reignite that first excitement ever again. No. I'm
doomsday. I believe you. I agree.
You can never get it back.
Yeah.
You can never get it back. It happens once. Like the first time we met.
Yeah.
That first feeling. Obviously, our feelings have grown for each other over the years.
Changed,
but that first feeling, it's unique.
Different.
It's different. And some people they hold on to that, and then they want to just keep seeking that. You have to kind of let go of that and develop from that.
Yeah,
develop from that.
Because although that first meetup, the early days is exciting, it's not the depth of love.
It's not.
It's not like love at its best. It's not what. There's so many more.
At the surface.
It's surface level. Yeah, there's so many more amazing things to come. There's like a level of love that you feel when you're with someone who you've been with for a long time, and you know that you have all these memories in your head with them, and you know that through all of that you've been together and that you still love each other the same. Like I remember when we had our anniversary. I think it was our 9th because it was last year when we went to a spa. We had like a spa day, and then we went to a restaurant before we came back. So we stayed away, and then we went to a restaurant to eat, and we were just talking about our relationship and how much we love each other. And we were both almost like, I don't know if you mind me saying, but we were both almost in tears. Everybody's like, yeah, I do mind you saying. We were both almost in tears. I'm not saying you were crying, but we can feel the heaviness of our relationship and how much we love each other. And we were just talking about, you know.
It's the history. Yeah. There's history there. And that's what makes the relationship. You know, that first time is great. It's like, there's nothing like it. But there is like you said, there's way more to come after that.
Yeah. And it's so much deeper and so much more.
And the thing is, we mentioned lack of communication. When one of the partners going through that, if they don't communicate it to the other partner, then things will fall apart.
When they're going through what?
The excitement of being there. If a partner is feeling that, starting to feel that, it's very important that you communicate that, because there are ways that you can try and spice things up a bit.
Yeah, 100%.
Find out where in the relationship, you know, there's a lack of, and they try and work on that.
Yeah,
that's why communication is very, very important.
It's true, because you do get into kind of like a monotonous rhythm. You know, everything becomes very monotone, and everything becomes, and it's like you have to have things that take you out of that.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's why we have our like date nights, we have our like weekends away, we have our movie time together where it's just the two of us. Because it's like, if you don't, you just become like, especially if you're living together, you become like two roommates.
Yeah. I think monotone, that's what I was looking for, not boring.
It's just all like one tone.
You do become like roommates.
You can
easily.
And that's one of the complaints I often make sometimes when we get too much into a rhythm and we're just not doing enough relationship stuff. I'm like, well, we might as well be roommates. And as soon as I say that, Frank springs into action like, no, we're not roommates, fam. Because it's just, there's a different feeling that you have towards someone who you're just living with versus
I agree.
Someone who you are like spending your life with.
Yeah.
So that's some of the things that we think can motivate someone to go into. There's so much more. There's so much more. Sometimes even like just meeting someone who seems better. You know, the 80-20 rule thing. There's this way to look at relationships where your partner can have 80% of what you need from a person, but nobody's perfect. So there's 20% that they don't have. So let's say that 20% is maybe they're not highly romantic, or maybe they're really bad with finances, or, you know, just something that is just like the 20% for you, but so much of them is perfect and it's 80%. Then you meet someone maybe at work or maybe while socializing or anything.
Yeah.
You meet someone that has that thing. So they're really romantic, or they really listen, or they're just like excellent with finances, or maybe your partner is not as well read, and then this person is like so well read, and they're just like, you guys can just vibe. They have that 20%, but they don't have the 80%. And you can literally leave the 80% in search, like trying to pick up that 20%. Yeah. And so that's another reason why you can end up, being unfaithful and kind of going off into a different relationship. Yeah. Trying to get that 20% instead of working with your person on that 20% or recognizing that the 80% is better than the 20%. But that one thing, but you've heard that.
Yeah, I have, but I actually forgot about that.
Yeah,
that's strong.
Yeah, because it's only when you get into a serious relationship with that person, this Miss 20% or Mr. 20%, then you realize that they don't do half the things that you.
Then you have more work to do because you've now got 80%
to make them. You got to try and get them to
serves you right. Yeah, serves you right.
Yeah. But what about the people that actually allow themselves to be the side person, the side chick or the side man, and in recognition of the fact that the other person is actually cheating on their partner? Why do we think people allow that? Why would anybody want to? And there's loads of women and men.
I want to be side chicks and side men.
Allow themselves to get into that situation. Some of them purposely seek it out. I mean,
sometimes
some women have been known to seek out married men.
I think sometimes there are some people that do seek that out, but I think some people do fall into that without actually, I wouldn't say not knowing, but without actually tending for that to happen. They may be in a vulnerable place. Say they've had a fight with their partner, or things are not going well at home. Just at that spot, at that point in time, someone comes in, good communication, good conversation. Good vibes, good vibes. Some champagne in the system, and bam, or you.
Charlie, I can't. But are you saying that person then agrees to be a side chick, even though they know their person is in a relationship? Because I'm not talking about the person that doesn't know that the person they've just gotten with is in a relationship. Because I think that person is just as much a victim.
So the ones that
I don't think they're a side chick. No, if you are in a relationship with someone who you thought was being exclusive to you, and then you find out they're married with 4 kids, to me, you're not a side chick unless you then continue with that relationship.
Unless you're lying to yourself that you know the relationship, even though he told you, I'm married with 4 kids.
Come on.
No, he's not married. He's not married.
No. I think most girls...
People out here lying to themselves.
Well, then, okay, I guess what I'm saying is, if you truly did not know, obviously if you're lying to yourself, you're a side chick and you're just trying to play it down. But if you are actually someone that was betrayed, because you're a victim in that situation too, you thought this person was exclusive to you.
Yeah.
You thought you were getting to know this person. So I think that's different. To me, they are not side chicks. A side chick has to know they're a side chick and, agree to be a side chick. One of those kind of women who will be like, I'm going to tell your wife if you don't do this and that. Do you know what I mean? Because they know you have a wife. Yeah. Or the kind of man that's like putting pressure on you to
that's true.
Commit to them when they know that you're married.
I think we should all have like a relationship passport.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm just thinking out loud here. But like, you meet someone at the bar and then it's like they're trying to like chat you up and be like, okay, you seem like a nice guy, but can I see your passport?
How would that even work?
He shows his
passport. How,
Sway? The bartender can scan it.
Oh,
scans it. Say, right, okay, he's single.
How? Right. In fact, that is just like that is on some black.
Scans it.
Black Mirror.
Oh, he's actually got 6 kids. Tell him to piss off. Yeah.
That is Black Mirror. That is some Black Mirror situation.
Sorry.
How would that even be able to be verified? Well, I guess once you're married, it's on your passport.
Your passport, you stamped it.
Every child you get,
that's 1 stamp. Another child, 2 stamp. Sorry. It's like wearing a medal, like Medal of Honor and stuff,
No, that's hilarious. Relationship passports. That's not a bad idea.
That's the way we can filter out the liars and the whatnot.
But there'll still be side chicks because there'll be women that
will ignore that.
Yeah, or who don't care. Like they don't care because
yeah.
And I say women because I'm a woman, so I'm talking about women being side chicks. But this applies to some men as well. They want to get what they want to get out of that relationship. They don't care that you're in a relationship. Some of them want you to be in a relationship.
But some women or some men, they've seen that in their family. They may have seen that in their family.
Speak on it. What do you mean?
Seriously.
What do you mean?
Maybe they grew up in a household that's, very open, got sisters or aunties that are like seeing men that have,
Wow, relationship.
They don't
That's
see
so
that
true.
as something
A big deal. Yeah.
that could be normal to them. You normalize, if your family members normalize that as you grow up, that's a normal thing to you.
That's so true. And even in the way society started to normalize it, it's like, wow, the person who's to blame is the one that's in a relationship. It's like, yeah, but can we have some accountability on both sides? Yeah. It's not just the person who is cheating that is wrong.
Yeah, the man is definitely, whoever is cheating is definitely to blame, but let's not all contribute to that.
Yeah.
Let's not play
Because
the game.
if you weren't there for them to cheat on, to cheat with, then they wouldn't be cheating. So if I always say, if I know you are in a relationship of any sorts, I would not entertain it, because I guess because of what I'm looking for in a relationship, that's how I always used to see it. I was looking for, I had my standard. I was looking for a serious relationship. I wanted a person that I could marry and have a child with for the first time in both of our lives. There was things that I wanted that I could only get from a man that also was only seeing me. If I was your side chick, then I'm not getting from you what I need in order for us to be like committed and exclusive and, to build a life together. But in saying that, some women are not trying to build a life with the man that they're dating. That's why they're happy to be a side chick. They're trying to get money. They're trying to get pampering.
I guess there are some benefits from being a side chick.
Of course. To some,
yeah.
If your morals are shot, or, let's not even get into, countries where men hold so much power that just being affiliated with, associated with, or even just being able to be one of the side chicks to a powerful man can get you so much access in life. Yeah. So, I've had to look at myself sometimes and be like, a lot of what I think about people being, and I'm not trying to justify side chicks here, but I'm just saying there is another social aspect to it where it's like a lot of what I think is because of the life I live and the, who I am and the privilege that I have to be who I am from my background.
Yeah.
Maybe I wouldn't feel this way if my only way was getting access through men with money, men with power, men with ability to set you up for life. Do you know? I remember a few years back I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who went to Cuba, and he was telling me about how it's rough out there. Like a lot of the young, pretty women have to basically chase foreign men.
Yeah.
Because that's their livelihood. And it's not just the livelihood for them, it's a livelihood for their family.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes it's hard to judge, but it's from a very niche perspective. It's from a very privileged perspective. But I guess that's not the side chick, side man situation we're talking about here. We're talking about people within the same, people who don't need, it's not like you need to do this. Like you
and do this because you want to do this. Yeah.
And I can't even speak to women in a society or in a situation, financial situation or background where this is their only option. I can't even speak to that, because a part of me would say, is that really the only option though? Do you have to do that? Is that the only way? But like I said, I can't even speak to that because I haven't lived that experience. So I don't know if there is another way, if there really is another option. Because some people say, well, do you have to do that? Why can't you, be a babysitter or, try to be a house girl, or do you know what I mean? So there's always something there where it's like, were you choosing the easy way out, or were you, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I can't speak to that. I can't judge to that extent in those situations. But the kind of situation where we're all in the UK, we're all in London. Yeah. You can go and, find your own man. 702. Was it 702? No, it wasn't 702. It was Nivea. Find your own man. And
make your own money.
Yeah, you can build your own relationship. Yeah. But, you want a ready-made man who's in a relationship and who's got money and da-da-da. I do blame women that put themselves in that situation as well, because I think it's just selfish. Because at the end of the day, if you were in a relationship with a man and you had children and you were, building a family, and someone came into your relationship, and I'm going to sound like one of those women that blame the women, but I don't just blame the women, trust me, I don't. But I'm just saying, I'm looking at it from women to women. You would want your relationship to continue growing and for that not to happen. So for you to be the catalyst that allows that, to me, as a woman, I couldn't allow myself to be that person. But obviously, all the smoke goes to the person in the relationship, the man, or the woman, is responsible because they're in a committed relationship. And I hate when women, and you know, it's contrary to what it sounds a bit different considering what I just said, but I grew up around, you know, I'm from an African background, so I hear a lot where the woman gets blamed and the man gets excused in a situation like side chick, side man, and I hate it. I know, hate that.
You hear things like, oh, it's just that's how men are.
Yeah, it's the devil.
It's the devil.
She's trying to take your man away, and it's like, my man cannot be taken.
Take him to church.
Yeah,
pastor, pray for him. Okay.
And it's like, I hate that because it's like nobody can take someone away from you if they do not want to be taken. A man is not a child. Like, he knows what he's doing. And the same thing with a woman. Like, you know, if you're the one cheating, you know what you're doing. So the person who you're cheating with, in my opinion, there's enough blame to go around. So they are also to blame, but not more than you are.
And I think society, and especially social media, is making the whole side chick and side man like a normal thing. They're not getting shamed for it. So they're not getting shamed from it. I've seen a lot of Instagram posts about, like, literally say that, oh, you know, side chick, and everyone kind of just comments like, oh, okay. And no one really cares. Like, they're not fazed by it.
I know.
You know, 5-10 years ago, to be like, oh my God, that, you know, everyone they'll just disappear from social media because of it.
Yeah.
But now they're actually proud of it. They actually gain more attention.
Yeah, especially in like celebrity relationships. You know, I mean, your brother, Mr. Unavailable. I'm not saying nobody. I'm just saying, like, but you know what I'm saying.
Even look,
it's almost beneficial to be his side chick.
But even look at that situation. You know, the people. Yeah, the women that are like, you know, they're all saying that they don't know that he has a woman or he's married, which this is what we were saying before, but, you know, choosing to be part of that life, you know, so.
Yeah, I don't believe them, but
let's not go into that.
We're not going to go into it, but I'm just saying,
it's very, very available. Yeah, it's very, very available, my brother. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Right?
Yeah, let's move on to the next
He's available, but yeah. That the point we were trying to make by bringing him up is that a lot of the women that get involved with him are out here trying to make a name, because there's no way you can tell me you are trying not to, you know, you're ashamed or you're trying not to make it that for people to know what you've done, but you're on social media, you know, taking pregnancy tests on social media. So it's clearly like the shame and guilt associated with being with a married person and being the other person, the other woman or the other man, is just diminishing, and it's scary because it's well, this is the image that we're putting out there for the youth. This is the image we're putting out there for the next generation.
It's quite worrying, I have to say. Yeah.
Why do you think it is diminishing though? Like, okay, yes, social media now, everybody, you know, who's messing with a celebrity who's in a relationship seems to want to come out, but why are people not ashamed, embarrassed, guilt?
This is going to sound crazy. People are probably going to call me paranoid, but I believe that there is some form of, I wouldn't say attack, but there is some form of attack on the nuclear family. I think there's something behind that. I'm not going to go into details because I don't want anyone coming up.
Oh, child.
I think there is something behind that. Because what's the best way to do it? By not shaming the side chicks and all the side men.
Yeah, 100%. I know.
By giving them the platform to be able to do all of that nonsense without there being any repercussions. So they just carry on doing it.
Yeah. And then the more the side chicks are and the side men are not ashamed, the easier it is for people who are in relationships to feel like, this happens to everybody, and to stray and to get, and then, relationships then are pretty much doomed, and they can, you know, but I have to bring it back and be like, but you who is in the relationship, you know, the temptations out there. And I do agree with you, you know, there is a lot more, I mean, people have been saying for years, marriage is not what it used to be. There's an attack on marriage. There's, you know, an attack on the nuclear family. It is seen much more like normalized to be in blended families or single parent families or, relationships with side chicks, cheating, and this is not new. It's been going on since the dawn of time. But I think the fact that it's becoming normalized is interesting if you start thinking about what the bigger picture could be here.
It's becoming normalized, but it's becoming easier to cheat.
You think so?
Yeah. If you look at social media,
okay,
social media is full of women, girls. Women are more readily available. If you talk about dating app, you talk about meeting apps and all of that.
Yeah.
So that makes it easy for guys to to wander up. The man is still at fault. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
15, 20 years ago, you would have to go to a bar. Yeah, you have to go to a bar or club. You have to seek out. You have to come outside your house, get into your car, and drive off to find a woman. Now you don't need to do that. Just pick up your phone, right? Yeah. You find one of those apps, and then you go about your business. It made it easier. So I know I keep blaming social media and all our podcasts, but social media has made it easier.
Yeah. I mean, there was a while ago you came off Instagram.
Yeah.
Do you want to share with our audience why? No, I'm making it sound like you cheated, but I'm saying, what was your thinking behind that? Because I remember being like, no, why are you coming off social media? And the thing is, I have access to your Instagram and stuff like that. So it's not as if I can't see your DMs and I can't see what you like. It's not that. But you just didn't want to be on social media anymore.
Yeah,
and that was interesting because you had a very different social media from what I had. Yeah. As a woman.
Yeah. My social media, right? Because I know...
Your Instagram.
My Instagram, right? Because obviously being a man, I know a lot of men.
Yeah.
Who like big body.
Oh,
I'm gonna get straight to it. I'm not gonna
Can we just have the aesthetics?
Okay.
Can we just say it?
Okay, I'll rephrase that again. Being a man, knowing a lot of men who appreciate
the female
anatomy. There is quite a lot of response to these female anatomy. So if you don't know about Instagram, if you have friends that like specific posts or specific pictures, it will show up on your feed. It will become part of what you see.
Yeah.
So while being on Instagram, obviously I'm on there to share with friends and families and whatnot. But
you're being bombarded
with Yash. With Yash and on a daily. I was like, no. Sita is a liar. Yeah, Sita is a liar.
If I was
only my wife.
Peace out. Oh my God.
So I was like, no, I'm not. But obviously, social media takes away my time from my kids, from Nuria and all of that. So that added to that. But it was the amount of daily pictures, dailies. It's just too much.
And this is what you mean by it's easier to cheat because it's just in your face all the time. There's all this.
Yeah.
There's all these opportunities to try your luck.
But I must say, let me just make it clear that if I stayed, I'm back on Instagram now.
Yeah.
But
once we started our podcast.
Yeah, my podcast obviously to push it. But I'm not saying that I came off it because I was about to enter someone's DM quickly. No, that's the worst. But
my man was gonna fall down, mate.
That's the
trip.
Nah, I was never gonna
get caught slipping.
Nah, never that. All I'm just saying is that it was a huge distraction.
Yeah.
And all it takes is for a girl to drop into your DM, and then that could cause a rift between Nora and I.
No,
it's the truth.
She can drop into your DM if she wants, but it's how you respond.
I'll tell her to bugger off, but it will still cause a rift because you will feel like, why is she dropping into your DM? Who else has dropped into your DM? You understand? Just that little action. I didn't. That's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and we haven't had this situation. To be fair, nobody.
No one.
And I say this, and everyone's gonna slide into your DM, but nobody's ever.
I'll block every single one of them. Trust me, I don't need that wahala.
But yeah, no, we haven't had a DM situation, but it's just, I remember when Frank told me Instagram is just nonsense. So I was like, why? Because my Instagram feed is so different from your Instagram feed. Yeah. It's about travel, it's about makeup, it's about, it's my friends.
Mine was about
clothes.
Fitness, it's about Nyash, it's about Botox, it's about lip. It's like, why? It's like, why, guys, why are we liking these pictures? Because this is affecting me. It's like, come on, man, let's stop it.
I can't. Okay, we've definitely we've digressed. Okay, so we were just saying like social media has had an impact on shame and guilt and the way we perceive it. And I think also what I find interesting is that side men are still very ashamed and still very much on the D-low.
True.
Nobody comes out as a proud side man or talks about how as a man they seek out women who are in relationships.
That's true, because that goes against what we men stand for. That's very degrading. That's like you stepped. I don't know, you know. Sorry, let's be serious now. Because as a man, you have a lot of pride. So there's a lot of guys that are probably a side men. They lie to themselves that they're the main men. You're not. Yeah, you're not. You damn well know you're not. Right?
Oh boy.
But you can't bring yourself to be side man. Like you just can't, because
why? What's the dynamics for a man? What if you met a girl that you just, you know, she was just coming out of something. She's trying to get out of something, and you
let her come out. That's something first.
Well,
let her come out, and then we can start fresh.
Yeah.
Don't get involved while she's still mingling in that dirty clothes. While she's still swimming in it. No. Keep your distance. Let her finish what she's doing, and then.
And the same advice goes for women. It's just a shame that now some women, you know, it's like a badge of honor to be a side chick sometimes. I'm sure they've got a club. To a man with money.
Don't they have a side chick club?
I don't know, but it is one of those things.
But mind you, I saw a side man clothing.
Oh, come on. Side men clothing is not about actually being a side man.
If anyone knows anything about side men clothing, can you please drop it?
I don't know why they thought that title would be a good idea. But yeah.
Anyways, let's move on.
Another thing that I think will be interesting to address is what are our views when it comes to the dynamics of cheating before you're married and the dynamics of cheating after you're married. Is there a difference? Is cheating a bigger deal if you're married than when you're not married, or does it matter? Yeah. What do we think? What do you think?
I think this is gonna vary from one person to another. But I think for me personally,
standards and boundaries.
So I think for me, in a relationship, right before marriage, cheating is big, because it sets a precedent for what will come afterwards.
It does set a precedent. That's true.
So that's normally the concern for me.
Yeah.
So I would say it's as important as when you're married. Yeah.
I have a very different view. And I've never thought about it like that, because you're right. It can very much set a precedent, and it does show you the content of that person's character. Mm-hmm. But I always think of cheating before marriage, because I always had the view that you were single until you're married. And I've had this view when we met, like 20 years ago. So it's not, I think people are talking a lot about this now in social media. I've heard this a lot recently. But I think I've always felt that way, where I'm like, if you're not married, you're in a relationship, you're trying to see if you're the right person for each other and da-da-da. So if someone strays in that situation, it's still a big deal. I would not just like sweep it under the rug at all. It's still a big deal, but I don't think it's as big a deal as when you're married, because to me, you're not married to that person. All you've given them is some sort of, you were committed to trying to work with them, to be with them. You're committed to seeing where you can go. And I guess for me, because our relationship was always like, we're heading to marriage. That's how we always felt. So it was like, if you then met someone who you thought was better than me, as much as that would be really annoying, and I would hate the fact that you were dishonest about it, and as in you continue to pursue this relationship, but I would understand that you didn't commit to me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at the end of the day, you like me, but maybe there was someone better. And I think women should see things like that as well. Until you're married, if he cheats on you, that shows that he can't be trusted. But at the same time...
But it is better to get it out at the early stage.
Yes.
The early stages, though, because if it's like a cheating before marriage, and you want to be with that person, you know, you can sit down and work with that person and say, look, these are my standards. These are my boundaries. Like, you cannot cross it.
Yeah.
And if they continue to do that, then you can cut that off.
I think it's better for someone to cheat on you before you're married, because at least you can dodge a bullet at that point.
Exactly.
As opposed to once you're married, being cheated on. That's serious. Yeah. It's serious.
You are right. So
I think it's a bigger.
It's differently. I think it's more serious when it's in a marriage.
Yeah.
Before marriage.
But I do like your point though about it showing the kind of person they are and not overlooking that as well.
Yeah.
But I think also, maybe because I grew up around a lot of men, I feel like men take a while to get committed to a woman.
Yeah,
And sometimes I
I
think
agree.
men can be very like,
I agree.
they're not fully committed. And sometimes women take relationships way more seriously than a man is taking
I
it.
agree. I mean, yeah, it's almost like, when two people meet at that point in time, at inception, the woman is taking it seriously straight away.
Yeah.
Whereas the man could take a couple of months.
Sometimes a couple of years. These
takes it
crazy
seriously.
men.
Yeah, sometimes they would have probably messed up a couple of times about to be dumped before they take it seriously. Yeah, it gets to that extreme before they take it seriously.
Yeah, that's true. It's possible. And so I think knowing that about men or knowing that it's not all men, but having that in my head growing up about men, I always knew that, okay, right, you cheat on me before we were married, and maybe I can forgive you depending on what happened. But you cheat on me after we're married, after we committed, before God and my family and friends, boy, that hits different. That's a different level of betrayal. And I mean, people are probably wondering, before we were married, did we ever have any situations?
Did we?
I don't even know how to bring it up, but okay, well, let's just be honest, right? Because the podcast is about being honest. So before we got married, when we were dating, probably in the first year or two, and if you're not comfortable, you don't have to
in the first year.
In the first year or two, I wouldn't say you cheated, but I feel like you were being dishonest. And it's to this point where it's like you were still talking to girls as if you were single.
Yeah.
Which to me, yeah. You were
I was trying to get rid of them. There was too many of them. I was trying to like, oh yeah, we're gonna leave. And it took too long to get rid of them. That was it. That was the complication now.
Well, yeah, sure. It took too long.
No. Like I said before.
But these girls didn't know about my existence. They didn't know that you had a girlfriend.
It does take a while. It does take a while to get it out of your system, because before you meet that one, there are several that you're talking to.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that one then gets into the mix, but you decide to pick that one.
Yeah.
Then it's now like, how do I tell the rest? How do I get to know the rest? You understand? No. I'm being honest.
No, and this is why I said it's not like you were cheated on me. We don't have a situation where you were out here sleeping with multiple women or something like that. And I have to put that out there because I'm not trying to put you on blast. But it was definitely a case of people were not aware of my
overlaps, kind of like the conversation. Yeah.
And I have to say I did check to see the extent of these interactions, and there was no, as far as I know, because I'm here talking all
as far as I know as well. Yeah.
That's your story. No, I'm joking. That's his story and he's sticking to it. But there was nothing to lead me to believe that there was like actual inappropriate actions. But yeah, there was definitely overlap in the sense that in the early stages of our relationship, I feel like we were serious, we were committed, but yet it was like there was a part of you that was still like, oh, am I really getting rid of this girl? Am I really not? Like, should I still be talking to this girl? Is there still even just like talking to new girls as if you're single on social media?
Yeah.
Which wasn't social media the way it is now anyway. It was like, the old sites like MySpace and High Five and, they weren't like the way social media
There were new
platforms. Yeah.
So it was kind of exciting. It's kind of like you can meet different people in different places. Like, wow.
And my man had a girlfriend. He was still trying to meet different people.
The form the devil can appear in, called social media. But that was the beginning of it. But yeah. It does. As a guy, I would admit, I would put my hand up and say, it does. But this is all like boyfriend and girlfriend terms. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about marriage. We're talking about boyfriend and girlfriend. So it's not like, before you get into a serious relationship, there's just certain things you have to get out of your system.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, getting out of your system, it could bleed into your marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it's like a transition.
Ooh, child.
It's like a transition.
That sounds harsh to hear. Transition?
It's a transition. Well, it's a transition because you were a young guy.
Single,
you're single. You've got your friends. You guys are like, back in the days, you're chatting up girls. You're just collecting numbers. You're just storing on your phone. You don't even know who is who anymore. Right? You've got all these numbers. And then it's kind of like, then you meet someone And then it becomes all about that person. But now it's like, okay, those other people are still there. It's kind of like, okay, how do I
transition into something serious?
Yeah. It's like, okay, I need to kind of stop that. But there's still like some of that will still be bleeding into your day-to-day life because you're still like, someone's still calling you and so it's kind of like,
and they don't really know yet that you're in it. I know, I understood that, and I always understood that. And that's what I'm saying about, because my stance was always, you're single until you're married. I don't think I was as harsh on you in the early stages about, you know, commitment towards me, because I, at the same time, I wasn't talking to other guys because I wasn't like you.
You had man them, did you, I don't know about that.
No, I didn't have man them, but I'm saying I also understood that there's going to be a level of transition, and I think as women, it's a lot easier for me to be like, listen, I'm with someone, sorry, bye. But as men, sometimes it's harder for you guys to be like, dang, I really am in a serious committed relationship. Like, I need to move differently. And so I understood that. And maybe because I just have a lot of men in my family, and I never saw it as a big deal. But my whole point to you, every time any kind of discrepancy came up, I was always like, listen, you don't have too many chances to kind of fix this. Like, you know, I'm not going to be a girlfriend that is like undercover. Like, I'm not going to be one that you can keep a secret. Like, you have to like claim me. I have to actually be your girlfriend properly, otherwise forget it. And so I always used to ask you, like, look, if you're still trying to explore, you're still trying to play the field, that's fine. You just need to decide what you want, because I'm not going to be here for the kind of the wishy-washiness. And you were always like, no, definitely.
Yeah, I was trying to like, as I was saying, definitely, I was deleting them, but deleted. I was deleting as fast as I can. Yeah, blocking them. I went as far as I destroyed all my destroyed the chip that I had. I just destroyed my phone.
Destroyed the SIM card. Yeah. I know at one point he was like, this is my new number. I was like, okay.
Started again. No, because you have to, it's like my advice to young boys, young guys out there that are like, you know, they've been playing the field, they've just been like, you know, chatting girls, and you meet that serious one, you know that one is the serious one. I'm telling you, destroy that old chip.
SIM card.
Is it chip? Is it
SIM card? Still call it chip.
Okay, destroy that old SIM card. Trust me, get another number, get a new number, and just start afresh. Yeah, don't bring all that old baggage.
Until you run into them. If you know that shop, be like, oh, Jake, I didn't know. Who's this?
I'll be like, who are you? I don't remember you.
You're drama. You're not serious. But yeah,
no, but it's definitely different though. You know, cheating before or messing around for marriage is different from when it's marriage.
I think it's different. And I know there's people that are going to listen to this be like, oh my gosh, why would you put up with it before? You know, I don't know. Listen, until you're married, you're single, in my opinion. You're still dating. You're still seeing what's really good. And if they're showing you that, you know, they're not fully committed yet, then you can give them a chance and then bounce. But I do think I'm more likely to be like, okay, you're still seeing this person, okay, you've got 5 minutes to get rid of them, as opposed to just be like, oh my god, I can't believe he was still talking to this person while he's with me. That means he's a horrible person. I don't want to be with him. I never saw it like that. I was more about, okay, let's see if you can prove to me that you're serious about this, and I would give you the chance. But you're not going to get that chance in marriage. No. Do you know what I mean? You already said you committed to me. You already that's took a vow, made an oath. Like, it's not the same. Yeah. So I mean, we already addressed like some of the impacts of some of this guilt and shame on the part of the people involved, but that's diminishing. There's definitely emotional conflict as a result of cheating or having a side person in a relationship, which can lead to deterioration of a relationship. Lack of trust,
big time. Big time.
And fear and anxiety, which I don't think people really talk about. Being cheated on can affect your mental state and your mental health. True. That kind of paranoia, anxiety, anxiousness. I think it's really messed up. And I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, cheating for me is such a big boundary, because I think if anything, it just messes up your self-esteem. You know, even if you try and forgive that person, you're still, your self-esteem can really get shot. Some people don't recover from that. And some people don't recognize it enough to actually work on it, on building yourself back up. And the partner who has lost your trust, if you're staying with them, they're also responsible for helping you to build your self-esteem back up, you know, because otherwise
You can never move past it.
You can't. Not in my opinion, anyway.
Never.
I don't think you can move past it.
Yeah, I agree.
We're just looking at each other like, dang, that's bad. But yeah, the impact, I think, it can be really, really major. And I think
and it could lead to people taking their lives.
Yeah.
You haven't even touched on that.
Yeah. I know. I didn't even want to go that down.
No, I know. But but that's how serious it is.
Yeah.
That's how serious
and I think sometimes, like, especially if you're the party doing the cheating, you really need to question like your morals, because
you're better off just leaving the person.
Yeah.
Just ending the relationship.
Yeah.
Like,
just end the relationship, just come clean, because you don't know how they're going to take it, and you don't know how much of an impact you can have on their future relationships as well. I always say it's just one of the most selfish things to cheat. And it's just
agree.
like...
I agree.
Anyway, we're going into that tangent of like making, everybody knows how we feel about cheating. But what do we think about, well, once a cheat, always a cheater?
I don't know, Well, from what I've seen, I would agree with that.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, like,
I would expect a man to be like, men can change, people can change, cheaters can change.
People can change. I would be very generic about that. People can change, but from what I have seen, from what I've experienced, maybe just the people did not want to change. Yeah, because people can change. I don't. Not necessarily for everyone. Once a cheater, always a cheater, but the tendency will always be there.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
In today's society, it's easier, like I said before, with the apps and stuff. So you just get drawn into that. Just get drawn into that.
But what would you say to someone who has been cheated on then? In that case, it's like, if someone's listening to this right now and they're like, oh, you know what? I've been cheated on. Should I be leaving this person? What would we say to someone in that situation? Or you find out your partner's got a side man or a side woman.
That's hard. You have to make a decision. Do you still want to be with that person? Do you believe that person can change? Because you yourself know if that person can change or not.
How remorseful are they? What were the circumstances? Has they done it before? I know.
This is something that's happened previously or has been happening there. It doesn't look like there's going to be any end in sight for it. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, from a woman's perspective, I have a very clear message for women who are being cheated on or who have been cheated on and they're still in those relationships. Because I've always seen it very clearly. I always say, deep down whether or not you should be with that person. Like you just said, you've got a decision to make. Whether or not they can actually change. And like you say, it's like sometimes we lie to ourselves because we want what we want. And I think as women, and I can't speak to men, but as women, we have this thing where we have an image of what we want, what kind of relationship we want to have, and we have the person and we want that person to be that relationship. And sometimes we can make ourselves see things differently when it's not that way. It's very clear cut that this person doesn't respect you. This person doesn't think you're going to ever leave them. This person is never really going to change. But because you want what you want and you want that person to be that thing, you almost rewrite what has happened. It was just the women. He just can't help himself. Or, you just tell yourself this is the last time he's really sorry. You don't allow yourself to see things for what they really are. And I always say, ask yourself this. If they never ever stop doing it, they never stop cheating on you, would you stay with them?
So that's a good one.
And if the answer is yes, because whatever you get from that relationship is more than the pain of the dishonesty or disloyalty. If the answer is yes, my message to women in that situation is learn to cope with it and learn to deal with it and learn to turn a blind eye to it. Yeah. Because otherwise it's like you keep picking at a scab. You know what I mean? They cheated. Yeah. You're back with them. The scab is healed. Yeah. They cheat again. Yeah. Off you go again. You're picking at it's like you're allowing yourself to give it the same level of grandeur or seriousness each time. But I'm like, but why are you allowing that to be the case? Because the first time I can understand. The second time, okay, this is weird. The third time they cheated on you, at this point, you are choosing to be with them over your own self-worth or you know, whatever it is, you feel that being with them is worth going through what you're going through. So why don't you learn to toughen up, like learn to be oblivious to it or to not care, because clearly you can't make that decision to leave them, you know? So to me, how I've always perceived it is, if you are choosing to stay with someone who consistently cheats on you, you need to set up some sort of defense mechanism against it. And you need to realize that you're making a choice. You know, you're choosing to be in that situation. And at this point, you need to, you know, you need to put on some armor when it comes to it. You need to put on some armor. You can't just keep giving him the same level of, you know, crying, the same level of drama every time you find out he's cheating, because at this point, he'll carry on doing it. And at the end of the day, I always say, I don't think men respect women that they cheat on. That's just, you know, how my dad raised me. If a man consistently cheats on you, he does not respect you.
But that's clear cut.
Yeah.
There is no debate in that. If a man consistently cheats, it's not even about how you're raised or whatever. It just makes sense. If someone continues to keep hurting you,
purposefully knowing it, they don't
respect you. They don't love you. They don't care about you. Why would you carry on hurting someone? No, that doesn't make any sense. But from a guy's perspective, if a woman was cheating on a guy, I don't think the guy will give them. will stick around.
And that's why I say that, because men don't stick around for that. They don't stick around for that. And the reason why men wouldn't stand for it is because men tend to have a higher sense of self-worth than women.
You think so?
I think so. I think so, because I think men do the chasing, right? Men go and find women, right? And they have a sense of pride in their woman in that way, the way society is, stereotypically. And so if a man is being cheated on, it hits his self-esteem and his sense of pride so hard that he can't even put being with you above that feeling of disrespect and disregard and lowering of him to that level. He can't even take it. Even if he wanted to forgive you, he will struggle to. And he will eventually just be like, no, I can't do this, because
pressure.
It's too much for him. And this is why I say I think men have a higher sense of self-worth, because I have that same feeling towards, you know, cheating or someone or being cheated on. I view myself in a way where if you cheat on me, because I value myself and I know what I bring to a relationship, I know I'm worth more than that, you might as well just chosen to not be in a relationship with me. To me, it's the same as choosing to no longer be with me. And I'm not going to beg someone who doesn't want to be with me. So it's like, I see it the way I think most men, and there's probably loads of women that see it like this too, but I see it the way most men see it. It's like, even if I wanted to forgive you, I'm going to struggle to, because at this point, staying with you is not worth my sense of self-worth to that level, you know?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. And I think, anyway, I'm talking a lot, but you know how I feel about this topic. I feel like women just need to be honest with themselves. There's nothing wrong with, listen, if you don't care about being cheated on because your man's got bare money and you're looked after, and just own it. Just be quiet about it. Just leave it. Just let him cheat in peace, because clearly it's more important to be with him than to, you know. But I don't feel like you should be forced to like leave a person for cheating if it doesn't matter to you. If it matters to you and you really care, I don't think you really have a choice. I think you have to be honest with yourself.
I agree.
Jeez. What's your advice to men being cheated on then?
Oof. I think the same. The advice you just given. Yeah, like
don't have it.
Don't have it. Don't stand for it. You know, because you've already touched on it. You know, that whole being a man and the pride, like, you know, it's quite damaging.
Yeah,
it's quite damaging, especially, you know, in our community where, you know, people know, like, oh, you know, his wife cheated on him. You are finished, though. Finished. There's no coming back from that one.
There's men that have forgiven their wives. The same women forgive men.
We have to be put it out there. We have to be like, you know, there are men. We're not saying every person that has been cheated on have not had, like, they've just got rid of their partners, you know. So it varies from one person to another. So some people have more tolerance to that. Have, you know, they can.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, just one time cheat, you're off, mate. Like one mistake, you're gone. Yeah. So people are different.
No. It's
So
true. It's true.
I think my advice, the advice you've given, I think you should cut across both.
Yeah, both
Like,
sides.
yeah.
Definitely. And I mean, we said we're going to touch on the impact it has on society and stuff. And I think we've spoken about it, normalizing dishonesty, disloyalty. Forget the cheating part of it or the nuclear family part of it. Just if you said you're going to be in a committed relationship with someone, be in a committed relationship with that person. I think we are in a society now where people do not even care about the word integrity. Like, your word is your bond. All of that stuff is like
It's gone.
It's just diminishing. Yeah, it's like if you say something to someone, try and stick by it. Try and live by it. Don't be Mr. or Mrs. Wishy-washy. Like, if you say you're committed, be committed. If things change, give that person the courtesy to choose to get out. You know, don't be selfish and presume you can have your cake and eat it too, because you can cause a lot of damage, you know. And I think the way we view cheating now is harming everybody, and it has a knock-on effect because we're losing our morals. And
I agree, and it goes beyond just harming the couple. It affects the whole family.
Yeah. That's another thing, you know.
The whole family.
Children. The people don't even talk about how much, especially in marriages, cheating, affairs, side chicks. That stuff really affects the children. It really affects the children, and it's just, you know, the breaking up of something that is supposed to be like your base, your foundation, your structure, because of one selfish act on both parties, right?
Yeah.
The side chick or the side man and the, you know, the parent that's involved in it can be so hurtful to children, and it can affect the way they view relationships and, you know, affect how they, even just their ability to trust people, trust relationships. So yeah, it has a knock-on effect. It affects a lot more people.
You mentioned earlier on that side chicks are more known than side men. I think that's due to society. I think it's more accepted for men to be, you know, playing around than women. So that's why it's not talked about. I mean, when we spoke about patriarchy.
Last episode.
Episode.
No, I think it was the one before.
Yeah, one before that. That plays a lot into this.
Yeah.
We know there are men cheating out there. We know there are men playing.
It's a man's world. That's why. Yeah.
Exactly. So
boys will be boys. All that silly energy, all that nonsense. But it harms the boys.
It does.
It harms the men.
It does.
Because you could be in a relationship with a woman that is amazing for you.
I know.
And like, even some women that put up with it for a while, you lose them emotionally before you physically lose them. Before they actually divorce you, you've already lost them emotionally. Like, continuously chipping away at her love for you is, I don't think men really realize that they can do that.
True.
You know, that's so real. Like, you can easily chip away slowly, just because you think she's forgiving you, just because she's turning the other cheek. You think, oh, she can never live with me. She's been with me for so long.
She's planning her exit.
And sometimes it's not even that conniving. She's not necessarily planning her exit, but she's losing the will to fight for the relationship. And eventually, it's like, it doesn't even matter what you say. She can't even stay with you. She doesn't even love you anymore. She doesn't even care anymore. Like, that's the scariest thing for a woman you love, to no longer care anymore. And I think a lot of men overlook that possibility. I think men sometimes don't realize until the divorce papers are in front of them.
Sure, they get kicked out.
Yeah. They don't realize because they just think, oh, this is just relationship stuff. We're just going through relationship stuff. And it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You're killing your relationship one cheatation at a time, one dishonesty at a time, one lie at a time, one betrayal at a time. And every woman has a different threshold, you know?
True.
Every woman has a different breaking point, but I think every woman has one. If it's something that she won't accept, because there are women that, you know, they don't really care about cheating like that. I mean, how many people are telling Unavailable's wife that, you hang in there, he's yours, you're Mrs., you're the one who's Mrs. And it's like, okay, well, I guess. but
she's still there.
Yeah, because maybe that's what she wants. She's there for what she's there for.
Yeah.
But not a lot of women.
Gave her benefit.
Yeah, but a lot of men are not celebrities.
Yeah,
they don't have to offer what some of these celebrities have to offer, and they get away with it.
Exactly. And even if they do, it's not the way to live, though.
No.
Come on.
Yeah, it's not the way to live. But let's get on to a more structured wrap up of this. So like, I did want to say as well, there was one point I was making, I forgot when I was saying like my message to women. Another thing that I've always thought about when I think about, you know, how women should navigate being cheated on or being in a relationship with someone who's consistently dishonest or mistreating them is you have to bear in mind when you're deciding to keep forgiving a man, this is the way I see it, and you can tell me whether or not I'm wrong. When you keep forgiving a man, the way I see it, you're also telling him that you don't value yourself. And as human beings, we don't value things that are not valuable.
I agree.
If you keep showing me that you don't value yourself, I don't really want you because I want something that's valuable. So the more you diminish your own self-worth, the less worth I give to you as a man. And so I think sometimes as well, women need to remember that. And, you know, while you're kind of consistently trying to persevere and forgive, you do need to be very aware of the fact that he can actually then lose interest in you.
Yes.
And then he can then get rid of you.
Yeah.
And what will you do should that happen?
Yeah.
Because that is, I think sometimes women don't think about that. They think I can just forgive endlessly. It's like, yeah, you can forgive endlessly, but will he want to be with you endlessly? Does he want a woman that just let him
There'll come a point in time where he would just pick up and leave.
Yeah.
Or just get rid of you. Yeah, you're right.
But as a man, do you think that's right? Do you think that's a right analysis?
I think that's right because we want things that are valuable. Like a man would appreciate a woman. This is why I always say, love yourself first before someone else can love you. That's very, very important because the more love you're giving to yourself, the more confident you are in yourself, the more appealing you will be, even if the person is your husband. So I get what you just said. You said that, you know, the more you're forgiving him, he's just going to think, well, you need him.
Yeah.
You need him.
That part, as Jada would say, you need me, man. I don't need you.
That's how he's gonna
Ed Sheeran.
You need him. So there's no stopping. So why should he stop? Because you need him.
Yeah.
You can't do without him.
And then we all have human beings have a very interesting reaction to being needed.
Yeah.
We can tolerate being needed to a certain extent. But once we feel we are overly needed, we start to feel like we're being almost used in a way. We start to feel like we are not putting our energy in the right place and we pull away. Yeah. And that's why people say, oh, I don't want to be too needy. That's where that comes from. Because as human beings, if I feel like I'm consistently needed in a situation where this person cannot seem to stand on their own 2 feet, after a while, I don't want to be there.
I want to be there.
Just giving. Because I'm like, and it's funny because even though this person is the one doing the cheating, but they will still feel, they become bold, they become brave, they become brazen, they become heartless, they become cold. Yeah. Because it's almost like they take advantage of your weakness. They see it as weakness, and eventually you just pull away from that. You're like, ugh, you're so needy. You need me so much. You know, human beings are weird like that. We have a dynamic where we like to be needed, but at the same time we want to chase. But we want to be needed, but we want to chase. And it's like, and I think men especially have that. Look at me giving away all the secrets. Like, give away all the secrets.
That's interesting. Thank you for that information. I will pass that on to the guy.
No, stop it. But do you not think that's true? My analysis wrong?
I said it already. I said I agree with that. I do agree with that. Yeah, that's a huge risk.
Yeah.
That is a huge risk.
Yeah, but I guess that's just my message. Like, be aware that the choice might be taken out of your hands. You might be willing to continue forgiving, and he might one day be like, you know what, I've met someone else.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
And we're sure that's happened countless amount of times.
Loads of times. Yeah. That happens, especially in celebrity relationships. That happens. I know a few relationships where that's happened celebrity-wise. But yeah, okay, so we got to wrap this up eventually because... So what would we say to someone dealing with a cheating partner? I mean, let's just bullet point it. What's our main takeaways for dealing with a cheating partner?
Rules. Yeah. Evaluate your rules. Evaluate your standards.
Your standards, your boundaries, your expectations.
Yeah. Expectations, evaluate.
Yeah. You have to have those. You have to have standards. We speak about this all the time. But you need to be really clear. If your partner's cheating on you and they're consistently doing it, or you've just been cheated on, you need to take some time, maybe go on a spa day,
go
for a walk, You know, go out to the restaurant by yourself. I love going to, well, I don't do it as much anymore, but I love going to restaurants by myself and just taking time to think while I eat. Foodie.
Really.
But I love solo things like that. But yeah, take some time to yourself to evaluate your standards, your boundaries and your expectations and be like, where did I not communicate that this is not acceptable? And what do I want to do going forward? And even if that relationship is a wrap, you know, still do that evaluation because you need it for the next relationship.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. Okay, what other tip? Be honest with yourself.
Yeah. I mean, you said it already in terms of like, you know, you've got to be real with yourself. If it's something that you know deep down that you can deal with, then accept it and deal with it.
Yeah.
But if it isn't, then it's better to take action quickly.
Yeah. And in that point about taking action, you have to remember that taking no action is action in itself.
Yeah, definitely.
Not making a decision is making a decision. There is no such thing as I'm just going to bury my head in the sand and pretend this is not happening, because that in itself is a decision, is an act.
I agree.
And I think that, you need to be honest with yourself and you need to be honest about what you want. Like, can you do 20, 30 years of the relationship the way it is?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You have to really be clear about that. And if you can, that's good. Yeah. Put a strategy in place and how you're going to deal with it and whatnot. And maybe it's that you don't talk about it. You know, maybe it's you tell him, just don't let anybody else find out. I don't know.
I know.
You know, just don't embarrass me. I don't know.
Put something in place to mitigate the situation.
But I also have to say to that point as well, you know, like the point about making, you know, potentially continuing with the relationship, you really do need to put something in place as part of your strategy in terms of pregnancy, not just for you, but him or her getting pregnant. So like the person they're seeing, what if they got pregnant, they got someone else pregnant? Think about how you're going to deal with that situation, because if you're in a relationship with someone who you know is like a serial cheater and you're choosing to bury your head in the sand, or you're choosing to stay with them for other reasons, then bear in mind that you need to have a plan for what's going to happen if there's pregnancies involved. And also diseases and stuff like that as well. What's the plan? You know, because at this point it's almost like an open relationship, because so you need to protect yourself and stuff like that. So you need to make that part of your strategy. It's not as straightforward as I'm just going to pretend it's not happening. You know, you don't want to wake up one day and find out that you've got an incurable disease.
Yeah, I know. So the third one is make an effort. So if you decide to forgive that person, right? That's what we're saying. Be prepared to make an effort.
It's not going to be
It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Be prepared to make an effort.
Yeah. But even in saying that it's not going to be easy, it doesn't mean that you have to make this effort on your own.
No. In fact, you shouldn't make this effort on your own.
Exactly.
The other person has to be there to make the effort.
Yeah.
It has to be both of you making the effort.
Yeah.
Because if you're the only one making an effort while he's still doing his thing,
or doing her thing, for the sake of equality.
Yeah, doing her thing, then you know the effort is wasted.
Yeah.
It's wasted.
And on top of that, I have a philosophy where it's like, if you broke my trust and you want me to trust you again, that's your responsibility to rebuild my trust. I don't understand relationships or situations where people who have chosen to trust the other person again or give it another go are made to feel like they somehow need to get over it, or they need to just learn to trust them. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to build my trust. So whatever I need, you should be willing to work with me to help me build my trust up. It's not a case of, you know, it's on you. You're supposed to trust me. You're supposed to trust. What? No.
You have to then try to earn your trust.
Yeah. Trust is earned by default. So I don't even understand why someone who's broken your trust, you've given them the courtesy of trying to forgive them, you now have to do all the hard work and the heavy lifting to build the trust. No, it's their job to rebuild your trust.
I agree.
You should be open and honest about when you have doubts, insecurities, uncertainties, and they should be trying to help answer those questions for you or curb those doubts and help with the insecurity, not leave you to it and try and go back to normal, right?
I agree with that. Yeah.
So what would you say to someone doing the cheating? What would we say to the cheaters out there?
You're a bad boy. You're a very, very bad boy.
Why is your boy? Yeah. Stop it, Fred. It's not. This is very serious.
No, he's a bad boy. A very, very bad boy.
You're so silly.
You said the thing on Instagram about the pastor.
No, I haven't.
Was someone came to do some sort of testimony. Well, not testimony, but they came forward. It was new to the church. Then the pastor was like, "You're a bad boy. You're a very, very bad boy." Man just stood there.
Yeah. Why was he a bad boy? How did the pastor know?
I don't know. Sometimes they lie in these churches.
Don't mind them.
So what would we say? What would we say to someone doing the cheating? Oh, well.
Do unto others. Would you stand for it? Would you accept that kind of behavior? Because if you wouldn't, then karma is written into the way the world operates, in my opinion. That's the way I see it. Karma is a given. Like, you have to think about that kind of stuff before you do wrong to others. Think about what you're doing to others and remember that what you do to others will come back to you.
True.
At the risk of sounding like the 90s movie The Craft. What you do comes back to you tenfold. So, yeah.
Yeah. Second one is reevaluate your standards
for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want for yourself?
What do you want for yourself?
What if the worst happened? How would you deal with that? It's not... As grown adults, we shouldn't just be making blind decisions and taking actions that are like ridiculous, that can harm our well-being in the future.
Think about if you've got kids, think about the kids.
Yeah.
Think about them. Think about your partner's family. Think about your family, like mothers, fathers, brothers.
It impacts so many people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, think about yourself in terms of your standards and what you want for yourself in your future. I know we sound so like finger wagging, naughty, but no, it's true though. You have to evaluate yourself. And if it's something going wrong in the relationship, come clean, go and talk to your partner, give them the opportunity to understand what's going on or to walk away. Yeah, if they want to. The third thing is be honest with yourself as well. Like, do you even want to be in a committed relationship? Why are you in a relationship that's supposed to be monogamous? Are you better suited to polygamy?
Because sometimes people are forced into not forced, but they're like drawn into a relationship, marriage.
They stumble into a relationship. Exactly. They didn't really mean to.
Yeah, it may not be for you. You realize that oops, I did it again. This is not for me. This is not for me.
You're right.
Then communicate that and come to an amicable
agreement. Be honest with yourself. Not every relationships are not for everybody. Marriage is not for everybody. Just don't try and live a life that other people want you to live. You need to be honest with yourself about what you want. Another thing we said is explore your past to understand yourself. Sometimes, like you were saying, historically you've seen this, you think this is normal. Somehow you are repeating the mistakes of your ancestors, generational curse. It's like there's all of that.
Definitely explore your past. If you need to get a therapist, get one. Try and dive into that because it's important. Until you get that out of the way, it might be hard to move forward.
Yeah, understand why you do this. Is there a feeling of insecurity? Is a feeling of not being enough?
Exactly.
Fear of commitment.
Which some people do have.
A lot of people do have. Yeah.
I mean, some people don't. They get to a certain age and not married yet because they have fear of committing.
Yeah, and it's because you're afraid of being hurt. And all you see, especially in today's society, is people being hurt by relationships. So it's hard to put your heart out there. But don't be a liar. If you said you've put your heart out there, then put your heart out there. Integrity, that word again, make your word mean something. If you're not ready, then, then continue to play the field because you're not ready. I actually respect men who are in their 40s and 50s who have never been married and they stay dating around, but they don't lie to anybody.
Yeah.
I respect those men because they know they're not cut out for it and they're doing what they want to do and they're not hurting anybody. They're telling the truth. If you want to be involved with them, that's on you. Those men, to me, there's nothing wrong with them. They can choose to be that way. That's not what I would want my son to be. That's not the kind of man I would want to be with. But if that's what they want to do, as long as they're honest with people, they don't need to be in a committed relationship. They're not hurting anybody.
True. So, so next one is come clean if you want to save anything. Be honest. if it's already happened, like, just come clean. And
Yeah, because you don't want to build a relationship on lies.
Lies, I know.
Come clean, try and see if there's a way to salvage what you have.
Yeah.
And stop. Lastly, stop for good. If you come clean and you're lucky enough to be forgiven and you're working on rebuilding trust and reestablishing things, then you need to stop. Because thinking that they're going to keep forgiving you, you could find yourself like completely wrong.
Another one we keep putting there is it could be, seeking help. I don't mention the therapist one, but some people might be a thingy where
situation,
libido kind of thing that they cannot control.
Yeah.
And so seeking help would go a long way.
And I would even say talk to your partner about that. But then I'm sure there's some people that will abuse that. I can't help myself. It's like,
I know.
Go see the doctor. It's true. Maybe you need to see your GP. Like, it's true. Therapy, seeking help. But yeah, it's true. That is a very real thing. There's some people, I think, wasn't Eric Benet a sex addict?
Was he?
All right, that's the only thing I remember from
wow.
I remember that from the 90s. And then he came out as a self-professed sex addict. Can't help himself. I was like, I didn't know that existed.
That could happen to anyone. Like, people could be going through that, but no one knows that.
Yeah,
they just think they're serial cheaters.
Yeah, it's true. They could be struggling
big time.
Yeah. If that's the case, then seek help, because there's no point hurting people out here.
True. So let's dive into some valuable tips for
what could prevent cheating in a relationship. So
what we think.
So the first one is communicate openly. We always talk about communication, having conversations, be open, honest about your feelings and what you need from your partner, how often you need it, what type of desires you have. I mean, we're going deep. This is all marriage territory, but it's still, in serious relationships, it's still relevant. But you need to communicate. You need to be open and honest.
Next one is negotiate compromises. So once you've identified the needs and the concerns, negotiate what works for
both of you. Work with your partner to find compromises to address both your desires or both your needs. You might need to set new boundaries or find creative ways to kind of meet each other's needs and just be open to do that. But you shouldn't feel embarrassed about the fact that you might have different desires or needs from your partner, because that's the whole point of being one. You should be able to talk to your partner.
Your partner should be your best friend. If your partner's not your best friend, they need to train to become your best friend.
That's Frank's motto. Your partner should be your best friend. Number 3, reevaluate relationship dynamics. Identify any areas that may be causing dissatisfaction. We felt this was important because it can include examining issues like communication, intimacy, and things like that. Really thinking about, how does our relationship actually work? How can we improve it? What is not working in our relationship, and how can we improve it? Don't just let things carry on and fester.
That's another reason why date night is important. Make some time. You don't not necessarily date night, but just find some time to discuss things, to talk through things, half an hour, an hour, outline those issues, outline those concerns. Like, that's definitely needed.
100%. Seek couples therapy if it comes to that. You can consider going to therapy or relationship counseling to address underlying issues. I think a lot of people are embarrassed about going to couples therapy, or they feel like it's just something that you do right at the end, just before you break up, and it shouldn't be. I say that, but we don't even do couples therapy.
You don't need it.
Oh, here we go.
When we start needing it, we'll go to it,
But couples therapy, if you need it, is helpful.
But what about people that go to their pastors and stuff?
Yeah, that's the same. It's the same thing. It's a couples therapy. Go to your pastor, go to someone you trust. And the thing is, even if it's not officially couples therapy, go to friends who are in a relationship that you admire or you respect. Because sometimes talking to other people about your relationship, not loads of other people, but a trusted confidant or a trusted couple, is really helpful. I hate when people in relationships make their partner feel like they shouldn't tell anybody what's going on.
I think one thing we don't do well on is being open with other people,
and not too many people, but
not too many people.
Trusted.
You might have 1 or 2 couples that you know that you can be open about. But I think as a community, I don't think we open enough.
Yeah.
People. That's probably why it's harder to help one another.
Yeah. Because we all want to pretend we're living the perfect life.
That's what I'm saying.
We all want to act like everything's good, nothing to see here. And it's like, we're all going through a lot of the same things. You not talking to people about, or someone or another couple about your relationship could have you thinking that what your partner's doing is so like extreme and wrong, and the only person in the world doing this. And it's like, I'm going through the same thing in my relationship. We're working through it. This is what we're doing to help. You know what I mean? So you can't just have relationships in isolation sometimes, because you don't realize how much what you're going through is actually the norm.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you also miss out on strategies to resolve it, And lastly, we prioritize self-care. Yeah.
Look after yourself, your well-being.
Yeah. When people say, like, by being a better me, I can be better for you. Having that me time, taking action to help myself reduce stress, to have fun, to be happy. It helps me be a better wife for you.
Definitely.
And it helps you be a better husband for me. Yeah.
No, I barely get it of that.
Oh, don't say that.
But it's
right.
so good.
No, I'm going to just say something.
I'm managing, to have my self-care.
Do you feel like you need more, though?
I probably do.
What else do you think maybe you need?
Go to the spa by myself. Maybe. I'm joking.
Whatever. Just because I have spa days, do you even want to?
Am I not good enough to have spa days?
No, but do you want to have spa by yourself?
Maybe I do. You've never asked me, have you?
Oh God, I can't go with you. Should we take that offline? Work.
We'll take that.
No, but I'm serious. Do you want to go to the spa by yourself?
Maybe.
Why don't you just say so, Frank? You see what community? It's just too girly.
We're at the spa by myself. No.
No, but you know what? You need to go to the gym by yourself sometimes. The spa is sometimes a good workout.
I've got a gym downstairs.
Yeah, I mean, I know the garage is our gym, but maybe you need time by yourself where you go somewhere and work out and then spa. I don't know. Anyway, this is completely off topic, but we'll take it offline.
Some woman tries to chat me up, and before you know it,
he's a cheater.
Bad man cheating. We don't want that.
No, babe. We'll take it offline and we'll look at like ways to make sure that you get more of your self-care time, because maybe, but you don't like to go outside. I always try and take the kids away, but maybe you want to do other stuff.
Maybe we need to reevaluate that. Is that what I still want? Maybe not. I don't know.
Okay, well, we won't bore our listeners with that.
No.
Oh, child, you crazy.
So, yes. So prioritize self-care is the last one.
Yeah.
So we said communicate openly, negotiate and compromise where you need to, reevaluate relationship dynamics often, seek couples therapy if you need to, prioritize self-care. Is there anything else we think could help prevent going down the cheatation route?
I think part of the negotiating and compromise, be open-minded as well.
Yeah, I guess that's part of it, yeah.
It's part of it, but be open-minded.
Yeah, be open-minded.
Be open-minded to it.
Yeah.
So, I think that's
getting TMI. We're going down dangerous territory. We're going down. I don't know if I want that on a podcast.
It's not that dangerous though. We could go deeper.
We're not going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We're done.
We'll leave it there.
We'll wrap it up there.
Leave it there.
So technically, what you need to remember is that building a healthy and fulfilling relationship requires real effort from both people. A lot of people talk about how much work a relationship requires, but sometimes we don't really appreciate that actually means working on things in your relationship, not just like, relationships are hard. It's like, you actually have to work on things and address issues in a constructive manner, because that can actually lead to growth and a deeper connection, which essentially is what we want for every couple. That's what you should want for yourself.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Is that it?
That's it. I have nothing else to say.
Okay, that's it. So that's it, guys. You've heard our views on the dynamics surrounding side chicks, side men, and cheating. Remember, relationships are complex, and it's essential to approach these topics with an open mind, and these were just our views. But of course, we hope you took away something from that, and we hope you enjoyed listening to this episode.
We really hope you tune into the next episode where we will be discussing double standards for men and women. So it's almost like a sidetrack of this side chick, side men and cheating topic, but we'll be discussing double standards in relationships in a bit more detail. It's going to be an interesting one. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll speak to you on the next one.
Bye.